fundamentals are right now attempting to do something so bullish, so downright disgustingly pumpy that I recommend you sit down and sip on something cold and delicious before starting this video. So if you understand that the juice is about to be completely and absolutely let loose, hit that like, hit that subscribe, get signed up to BINGX now. This is your last 6 days to sign up if you want to avoid KYC, if you want to buy Bitcoin or altcoins. And without any further ado, let's absolutely dump right into where we see Bitcoin right now having its first potential little pumpy above the 200-day moving average, this white line. This is big. It's a monumental moment. We draw the simplest trend line right here, where we've had depending on what happens, this is our first rejection back in May, our second at the end of July, beginning of August, and this is our third time getting above this line. What happens here is absolutely make or break big time. Okay, this is where legends become, this is where myths become legend. It's where people change many things. This is potentially the biggest moment in the history of mankind, if I'm being quite honest. Now, one of the reasons I say that, you might be saying, why are you saying something so outrageous? Look at this. So as measured from the low, Bitcoin is at the same spot it was the last two cycles at this time. This current cycle is this purple line. You see right here is basically where we are, okay? Right here. What does it look like measured from the lows? All right, so these are the lows. You see that the green line is the last market cycle. The orange line is the 2017 bull market. And we're right here in the purple, or whatever, it's kind of like a purpley color. What do you notice? Well, we're literally right at exactly that point, right before in the past we started lifting off. It's timed perfectly with the halving, a certain amount of time after the halving. It's timed perfectly with us entering Q4, historically the most bullish quarter for Bitcoin, period. Whereas September is historically very bearish. That is not the case for October, but it's nicknamed Uptober because historically price goes up big time. This is just, I mean, I can't even explain how juicy this can get and how fast it can happen. Right now, as I'm recording, we have not gotten the daily close. By the time you're watching this video, we will have gotten the daily close because I'm recording it right before, about 30 minutes before the close. So by the time you're watching this, you will have a peek into the future that current me, this is, I'm in the past right now. The Bitcoin monthly chart, again, this illustrates something completely bananas, I think. And it's the most simple way of putting it. This is the top of the last bull market, that like double top. And really, it doesn't get, there's no need to make it even more complex than that. We have this gigantic cup and handle where we have just been forming basically this handle for the past 7 months. If let's say I woke up one night and I pulled out my diary and I started writing in my diary exactly my hopes and dreams, okay, for exactly how I want this Bitcoin bull market to go. Well, I'll be honest, I would be writing in my diary something like this. I would be hoping that something like this would be happening. But guys, here we are. We're not in my diary right now. We're in real life. And real life is showing us that we actually have this ginormous, this jumbo, gigantic bull pattern. And we have reset all of this bearish momentum. I simply cannot imagine a better technical setup. And you talk about fundamentals as well. My goodness, we got the Bitcoin ETFs approved this year for the first time in history. We have BlackRock literally shilling Bitcoin. I don't know. If you would go back 2 years and you say this is where we would be at the end of 2024, I would say fast forward me to the end of 2024 because I want to experience those gains. Okay, this potentially has the chance of giving us the biggest gains. I don't even. It's just so insane. If we actually take a look, you see still, this is such an important trend line. It's a very important moving average right here. And also on the weekly chart, we're seeing this is the tightest, the closest that this MACD on the weekly chart for Bitcoin has come to switching bullish. It's inching so close there. It's not going to take much more. Couple more days of some nice green. We're going to see a bullish cross. And as everyone already knows, we have gotten a bullish cross on the RSI for the first time this year as well. All I know is that things can get extremely big, extremely pumpy here. And when you factor in this massive cup and handle pattern, Guys, you realize that other people also do technical analysis, like not just people on YouTube and not just people that watch YouTube, but institutions. People at this point are wise to this. They're aware of this at this point, also for the first time in history. I think the first bull run in history from the beginning. Now institutions know how important and impactful the halving is, how insane these bull markets are. You know, all of these $1 trillion asset managers and these hedge funds, all these people that have been watching crypto people for the last, I don't know, specifically like 8 years make all this money. This is the very first time where they have their fingers, they have their claws dug deep into this, and they're going to, you know, they're going to try and benefit from this as much as possible. And they're watching, they're looking at the same charts. And it's not even like, this isn't very nuanced either. This is not like my interpretation. This is just objectively, the technicals are objectively just screaming how bullish this current setup is. Okay. Sometimes you can read tea leaves. People consider technical analysis where you can, like, you know, one way or the other. But I mean, really, you have to really stretch to turn even this, you know, this 3-4 year macro pattern into anything else, especially with all the macro developments that we've seen. Now, as I said in the last video, we still have like 400 days or something until we can expect this market to top, about 350 days or something, if it's based, you know, anywhere similar to history where it's about 550 days after the halving. So we have a long time, but realistically, and I asked this a couple days ago on Twitter, I asked basically, what price do you think Bitcoin will have to be at before people start texting you that are outside of crypto, like your mom, your dad, maybe your uncles, your aunts, your friends, your exes, whatever. People will start texting you out of the blue that don't normally ask you about Bitcoin. When will they start texting you? And most people, I got like hundreds of responses. I think most people said right around 100K. 100's a massive level. It's a new all-time high by a lot. It'll be the first time Bitcoin has ever been 6 digits. And I personally think that, you know, if I would kind of draw out my opinion on where of this next like 300 or so days Bitcoin is going to hit 100K, honestly, I would put it somewhere in this range. So not very far away. I think personally, it's very possible in just the next few months. Depending how October goes, it could happen before this year even ends. And that wouldn't even be crazy. I mean, keep in mind, this chart on the screen right now is the entire cryptocurrency market cap, not Bitcoin. Bitcoin's included, but this is every crypto. And by the end of this, here about 550 days, altcoins are usually the ones that contributed to this last final spike and blow off here, whereas Bitcoin usually tops much earlier because Bitcoin pumps first and a lot of money flows into high cap alts, then lower cap alts, then like micro alts, historically at least. And realistically, yeah, I mean, it's just such a good setup. The stock market as well today, I believe, hit a new high. Yeah, I think it had a record close today. Everything is going in the way of, you know, this could just get so big so fast. Now, nobody can predict exactly what second, exactly what day, but all I'm saying is historically, I've been looking at these charts for like the past 8 years, and this very rarely happens. It only happens once every 4 years. What am I talking about? Well, basically that point where we're at those previous all-time highs, and then we just truly start lifting off, to where it just becomes a distant memory what those previous all-time highs were, and we just keep going up and up and up for months, weeks and weeks and months at a time. Very similar to this period here from October 2020 to about March of 2021. It's about 5 months of up only for Bitcoin. And then altcoins honestly pumped a lot in this range when Bitcoin was trading sideways, right? Alts got their biggest gains kind of right here while Bitcoin was trading sideways at the top, and same here back at the second top, the double top. But man, absolutely spectacular. It'll be interesting to see if we get this high daily close. Really, I mean, at the end of the day, the biggest thing is just getting a daily close above $65,000 US. Let me see if I remember the yeah, there it is. So right about where this line is, I'm trying to get exact, right about here, if Bitcoin can get a close, you know, start closing above this, which would also, not only is 65,000 just a massive level, it's also exactly where that previous high, the lower high was. If we breach that, it'll be the very first higher high Bitcoin has put on these charts since this channel began, since we've just been trading sideways. So it's just such a big moment. The thing is, like, we haven't started absolutely breaking out of this just yet. But these are the things, like, you want to try to prepare before it happens. And this is quite literally as close to it happening before it happens as possible, because we only have to go up a couple $100 more and we're there. So really, I mean, breaking above 65,000 is really just a huge moment. If we can break it, get some daily closes there, especially getting our first nice weekly close above it is going to be massive. And then truly, I think this pattern is going to erupt. Breakout target of this entire pattern, like if we go back, let me just zoom out actually. If we zoom out and look on the weekly chart, breakout target of this, honestly, it'll be a new all-time high in my opinion. We get a true breakout, like a not failed breakout would be well above the previous all-time highs around 74, and it has the chance of pushing us to about 100,000, even getting us to the six-figure Bitcoin. The marketing that BlackRock will have at its tips, it'll be so easy for BlackRock to market it. It'll be so easy for people to get hype. It'll be easy for the FOMO to start, because the FOMO has absolutely not started yet. There is absolutely no FOMO around Bitcoin right now. I cannot stress this enough. Based on all the metrics that I have, like in terms of engagement, and every other YouTuber, right? Everyone's been saying the same thing. We have lower engagement now than we did, like historically. This is kind of crazy how low interest and enthusiasm and FOMO is right now. I think if most people around the world understood exactly what opportunity we're like this close to knocking on the door and busting above is, like if people understood truly what opportunity we have in front of us, they would be piling in right now. But exactly the reason that we're going to make so much money is because most people are not paying attention right now. When they start paying attention, that's when you'll start getting those texts from your aunts, your uncles, the people that absolutely don't care about Bitcoin most of the time. When they start texting you again, that's when the true FOMO has started kicking in. And that has not happened yet. I still am just shocked at how low the engagement is. On one hand, I kind of get it because it has been boring. But on the other hand, you need to understand how to recognize these setups and how profitable, how insanely profitable they can be if you just understand them. And as I showed on this chart, like this isn't even like this is exactly what Bitcoin's always done. Bitcoin's not even doing anything different. It blows my mind that like it's so easy that for some reason people just can't wrap their head around how simple and easy it is that they miss it, and they just don't think it can happen again and again and again. And what are the chances that it just does keep happening again and again and again? Well, historically, it literally always has. So any argument that you might have saying, oh, it won't happen again, if you're saying that, historically, you would be wrong every time, because I've been hearing that for 8 years, and those people have always been wrong. And I just tend to listen to reason and fact more so than what those people that are honestly not very able to learn and learn from their mistakes specifically think about this market. Overall, is it this simple? I mean, historically, yes, it's been this simple. It's just about managing your emotions, which 99% of people simply lose to their emotions every single time. And remember, get signed up to FEMAX. You have about 6 days left. If you just sign up with the link below, if you want to buy Bitcoin or trade, this is your last chance to get to sign up without having to KYC, and then you'll be good to go forever. Without any further ado, that's it for me.